Hi, this is Ed, and you're on a Global TV Talk Show. This is a special edition of the series called To Life. It's all about health and wellness. And today we're going to be focusing in on this topic, strong women. Yeah, and Adriana Fuentes Diaz is our special guest, and she's coming to us live from Mexico City. And the program will begin in just a few minutes. But I want to introduce her to you. I'm going to read this from the LinkedIn. Adriana, pronounced better, Adriana Fuentes Diaz, has 15 years of experience in marketing and advertising, mainly with premium brands from several sectors, including automotive, consumer, financial, and beauty care. Adriana is a specialist in generating creative strategies and innovative advertising and communication campaigns, as well as loyalty programs and products to create leading brands. She's recognized as an expert in the management of important accounts in Mexico and Latin America, as well as regional adaptations. Adriana is capable of creating and maintaining strong and productive associations with clients. Adriana has a high capacity to manage comprehensive strategies ranging from market studies and testing, including the handling of the means of communication, events, and public relations. Adriana has won awards. She's a winner of international awards, including Cannes, Ojo de Iberoamerica, and D&AD. She's an account director, a communications PR specialist, and the author of 4 books, The Strong Women book series, available in both English and Spanish. So I'm really honored and very pleased to have Adriana Fuentes Diaz be my special guest. We'll be right back. Thank you. This is Ed. I'm in San Diego, and welcome to Life. It's the theme of our health and wellness series, which has been ongoing. Today's program is very special for me because Adriana Fuentes Diaz is live in Mexico City. And welcome, Adriana.
Thank you, Ed. I'm so excited to do these shows with you about different topics. So very excited to join this show with you.
So you are an expert in communications and marketing. I was reading that, and that's in the sample intro that I have just explained to the audience. And why don't you tell us quickly here in just a minute or two about some of the awards, the recognition that you have gained, have won, the recognition you have won by prestigious organizations and clients. And this is all about public relations, and I know you know it probably better than me. And so the idea now is to just speak into the camera and tell people about the kinds of awards and recognition and for what. Now, as I understand it, it's all related to marketing and brand identification, but I think you could probably say it a little better than me.
Thank you, Ed. Yes and no. I mean, all the awards that I have, I won is more specifically about my books. I mean, yeah, I have more than 12 years of experience in marketing, public relation, and communication, but I have really my purpose is to support women in the workplace with, many issues that we just face in the workplace. So bit by bit, or through this, the last 6 years, I have like all this commitment with women to understand different stage or phases in their lives, in their personal life and professional life. And this is why I start writing my first book, and then the second, and now I have fourth, and I'm writing the fifth book. And these awards are specifically to support women in their lives. So the second book has won some award, and also the third one and the fourth one. So I feel so proud, but I feel so happy that I can support women in all ways. So yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this. So today's show is about a sensitive topic, and I'm really honored that you selected me to help you explain of this topic about menopause. And the reality is that a lot of men don't know anything about it, and yet certainly impacted by by it. But so, what are the myths and realities, briefly, as we get into this program here? What are the myths and realities of menopause? And then when you get done with that, I'm going to tell you about a program that I developed with a woman in the U.S. about 10 years ago. Um, Prior to COVID, prior to me launching the TV talk show, but in a live conference where I had this lady come and talk about menopause as a quote unquote disability, and her striving to get American businesses to recognize menopause as a health hazard and to be put on the benefit program.
Wow, that sounds great. I mean, yeah, the first myth that I can say, it's that it's not a disease. Many people think, it's a disease, that we're sick, it's an illness, and definitely it's not. I mean, I can say that it is proven that perimenopause and menopause, it's not a disease, but there are like some physical and emotional changes, that women pass through, but also not every woman has these symptoms. It's like very personal matter. So I mean, right now I'm in my perimenopause, and when I talk with with my girlfriends, I mean, not all of us, we have the same kind of changes, emotional and physical. So this is the first myth. And like you say, Ed, I mean, a lot of guys, ask me like, I mean, are you sick when you feel bad? It's because you're sick. No, I'm not sick. It's just many things are happening in my body, and I have to understand. But it is something very important that also our partners, they really understand what is happening. And this is a taboo. Unfortunately, we'll talk about this during the show. The same than sex, at least in Latin America. Menopause is a taboo in our culture. So this is why I wrote in my fourth book about, I have one chapter that talks about sex and menopause, and how people think it is a taboo. So definitely it's not a disease. So yeah, that's all I can say.
Let's get into some definitions about what it is and what it isn't, and what is perimenopause?
Uh, Perimenopause is the transition, as the leading into the menopause. And usually, for every woman is different, but usually we start having these changes in our early 40s. So like kind of our body and our, especially our body start preparing for menopause. And then menopause is a single point in time. Okay, it's not a long phase. It's just one. We start having more changes, definitely more changes. And a woman just has gone for 12 consecutive months without menstrual period. So this is so important. And you know what? It is interesting because many women, they just start feeling these changes or facing these stages in their lives, but they don't know exactly what is perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. So the first thing that I talk with women is understand what is happening in your body, what is happening. Don't feel bad. Is just understand your body, understand these changes, and raise your hands. Go to some specialist and to understand what is happening. Actually, I have a book here. I don't know if you see it. That I don't know. The name is Normal, Isn't It Optimal? Actually, it's a book in English that I bought it in US. And my doctor recommended me this book to, it's a short book, but really to understand what is happening in my body. So that's the first key for us.
Well, let's talk about the obvious for a moment, if we can, um, about what is happening in a woman's body. It's a woman is a life giver, a life maker, and so that's is what's changing. The inability to, or the end of that lifespan of those parts or organs working the way they had been working for many, many years. And when that's a normal change, a normal process. It's not like a bolt of lightning hitting. It's just the end of something. And so that's obviously going to cause change physically and perhaps mentally, not necessarily, but perhaps. So it depends on how some women are ready for that. But the crazy thing for me reading your notes was that some are not ready. They're not sure. They don't know what to do. And
Exactly. I think we're not ready because we don't have enough information about it. It's funny. I was talking with a friend, younger than me, but she was starting with the perimenopause, and she asked her mom about, Mom, how did you feel when you start with your perimenopause and menopause? And this answer, you will shock with this answer, and this is for real. Her mom told her, like, don't worry, you will feel bad, very bad for like a year and a half, but then you will be okay. You will survive. And, my friend was in shock, like, really? You didn't go to the doctor 40 years ago? You just felt bad for a year or a year and a half? And she was in shock. And this is, why it's a taboo, because our mothers, grandmothers, they didn't talk about this. So yeah, many things are happening. Actually, I can talk about myself when I start, especially feeling como a roller coaster of emotions. My emotions, more than physically, my emotions, they were like getting crazy. I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me, like, why you don't start taking some depression pills? And I was like, why I need to take, some pills for depression? I don't feel like I'm depressed. I feel like, my emotions are getting crazy, or like a roller coaster. And then I decide not to do that, but I decide to do three things that for myself, for my own experience, was like very the best. Doing exercising, or exercising every single day, doing meditation every day. And for me as a writer, like journaling or writing, it's kind of a therapy, personal therapy. So with that three things, meditation, exercising, and journaling and writing, was my kind of depression pill. So unfortunately, exactly, is understand what is happening emotional and physically in our body, and just take care about it.
what about the temperature variance?
You know what? That didn't happen to me. Maybe because I live in Mexico City, and it's like cold weather. But that specific symptom didn't happen to me. But I have another friends that they're living in other part of the world that they kind of pass through that. But it is taking the right hormones, the right kind of hormones treatment, and definitely you start feeling better. But you have to go to the specialist. You have to understand what is happening in your body, and go to the specialist. Just don't suffer. I mean, we don't need to why to be suffering of this. Just treat ourselves, be kind with yourself and do what you have to do.
So you wrote this to me. I'm not a genius at this topic, of course, so I'm following your lead. What's one fact you wish every 30-year-old woman knew today?
Definitely, at 30, our body, mind, and health are already changing, and in many ways. And this set the stage for how we will feel in our 40s or 50s and beyond. And we have more power to influence the future we realize. I mean, I don't know if you hear that also this staging in our life is the golden age. And I feel it is the golden age. Why? Because I feel more confident. I feel more, what is maybe negotiable and not negotiable for me in my life. So uh, why not, treating ourselves much better than before? Else, I mean, yeah, I think even like it's a hard or difficult stage in our life, but also you can just, do it better and enjoy in different way.
Got it. Okay, so sample myths, and I'm going to read this. Menopause starts overnight. That's a myth.
Yeah, it is a myth because, for not for all women is like that. So it's a myth, definitely.
And only older women experience it. That's a myth.
It is a myth. Not just older women. I mean, for every woman is different, and there are some women that just start with the perimenopause very early in their like ladies 30s. So, they're not all. It's just different in each body.
So one day a lady wakes up and she's not feeling well, or gets her temperature is freaking out because hot, cold, or just not usual for that person
Yeah, I mean, there's some,
at that stage.
exactly. There's como some changes happening at the same time. The physicals that maybe your period is no, like every month or every 21 days. You just start with, some changes, and then you start feeling, like kind of sad or with some kind of hot flashes, or you feel tired. That's another thing that, you don't have energy, enough energy during the day. So a few things that if women read, because right now there's many information that you can find so easily about the typical symptom. If you read, you just, call your doctor, go to your doctor specialist, and of course you need to get some lab exams depending of, as to what is happening in your body, and then start having some hormones treatment, and that's it. It's not so difficult.
So now's going to be a silly guy question.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have hormones?
Yes. Of course. And you know what? I
You
think
know, I've never thought about that.
this is why I think one thing very important is to talk with your partner about it, but to have a conversation and nice communication about how do you feel that your couple, your partner should, understand what is happening to you. And you also, guys, they pass through this stage, but are very differently. So we can talk another time about that. But yeah, communication, it's a key, especially if exactly you have a relationship, and you don't want to your couple just start getting crazy for this stage. So this is important. Talk with him, and I'm so sure he will help you with this stage in your life.
So hormone therapy then is adjusting actions of hormones?
Uh, Actually, the hormone therapy just will, increase the production of two hormones that are the most important in this period, that is estrogen and progesterone. They're the two hormones that in perimenopause and menopause women, we don't produce as much as before, these two hormones. So having this hormone treatment, will help you to feel better in all ways, physically and emotionally.
Hmm.
And
I don't,
sex,
I don't think I've ever had any treatments for that, but
and you know what?
okay.
Another thing that uh, some women pass through is lose their libido, and that's normal. This is why in my fourth book I talk in one chapter about sex and menopause, because there's also some changes that in our body that maybe we don't feel like comfortable as before to have sex. And now there's many products, also some nice treatments that women can just add into this stage in their lives to have a very sexual life with their partner. So
So what about mood swings or weight gain or weight loss or
yeah,
bone density?
see, all that happened, but everybody is different, and each
Right.
the body's woman, it is different. So uh, this is very como unique experience. So that's why the best recommendation that I can do is read about it, understand what is happening in your body, and go to the specialist.
Got it. So you can get a referral from your regular doctor to,
Exactly.
yeah, okay.
I mean, I have my gynecologist is a guy, and when I told him that what's happening in my body, very honest, he told me like, you know what, Adriana, I will recommend you a specialist. It's a doctor, but she is a woman, and she is like hormone specialist. So I can see you every year, but just go with her, and she will explain to you all everything about the perimenopause and menopause. And I was so happy because uh, I stayed with her in this appointment like for hour and a half, and she was like, she really did a master class for me about hormones. And I understood in that day why I was feeling that way. And I start like a week after start with my hormone treatment, and I feel much better. A hormone treatment, it is also a taboo. A lot of women, they think it's bad to take it, you'll feel worse, and it's not at all. It's just dependent as to what is the treatment specifically for you.
So the element of religion or religious belief, does that ever enter that discussion?
No, not really. I think it's more like a more than religion, like a cultural focus of also of youth, because society prices youth, and there's been less visibility of the midlife transition, for women. And also another thing that I talk a lot about it is lack of education and healthcare. Usually medical training has historical focus on fertility, pregnancy, in contraception, but no in menopause. I mean, the doctors, they don't know how to, not all doctors, I mean, how to diagnose or especially support women in this stage, because they still, talking, or maybe it's more important for them to talk about fertility, pregnancy, and contraception, and not menopause. But I really hope that in the next few years, things change, and, all women in their early 30s, they really know what is going to happen in their 40s and 50s.
Got it. Okay, so now you talked a little bit about this earlier and just health things like walking a lot or some exercise on a regular basis. And something about diet. Does can you eat or not eat certain foods that will impact that?
See, definitely. I mean, having, a good diet with a lot of veggies, fruits there. I'm doing some research about that eating specific seeds helps you with the menopause symptoms. You know, in your salad, in your smoothies, specific seeds. So it is so interesting for me. I'm so curious. This is why I'm reading a lot of books and watching some podcasts and many other interesting things that I'm learning a lot about what to do, what to eat, what not to eat in this stage. And that definitely is helping me a lot.
Yeah. So I love green beans. So, the more butter, the better. But
Exactly.
and I've always feel good eating it. So, but I don't know how my hormones feel about that though. Okay, so yoga, and just some kind of mental control things,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Some kind of exercise that maybe more than athletic, like your metabolism, also like very relaxed exercises, yoga, bueno, Pilates is you work a lot, pero meditation, this is why it's so good to control, your emotions, your mind, because maybe you are all the time thinking just about what is happening in your body. So that kind of exercises help us a lot.
This has really been interesting for me. Thank you very much. And so, work-life adjustments, you write about this here, work-life adjustments and workplace advocacy. So, um, do you want to talk about the workplace? And that workplace now means hybrid, but in the old-fashioned way of being in an office 9 to 5, or so. And I don't know whether those days will ever come back, but they probably will to some extent for some people. But um, how does that? I mean, how do you feel about that? And what's your take on this part of the healthcare benefits of a corporate healthcare package?
I think that they need to
Or should it just be private?
No, 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 no private. This is one of the things that it is a taboo because we don't talk about it, and definitely, in the workplaces, they they should talk more about that and understand this stage of the women lives, and try to be kind of more support with women, because maybe exactly it's hybrid in in some cases. But what about if I go to the office and I'm not feeling well, like, why not better to stay at home and be working from home? So this is something that should change. And this is funny because I have a lady that she's a director in some bank here in Mexico in the customer service area, and she want to write a book. I will help her to write a book because about that. She's been a director of this bank for 20 years, and now she's in her menopause. And she's, she was telling me, like, I mean, how I will deal with, I'm around a bunch of guys and they don't understand what has happened to me. And I have some colleague that she's pregnant and they don't know how to deal with her neither. So definitely this is something that we need to talk more about it. And the corporate world, they should adjust some things to support more women in this stage.
So, how does the role of the current Mexican president um, in this regard, in this topic?
I mean, so far she's being very supportive with women in many ways. Actually, now she's going to support women economically with the women that need to stay at home, taking care of the kids. The women that they can go to work because they have young kids, and they're like the principal role in at home. She will give them some economical support. So I think bit by bit she's very focused on how to help us to in different stages in our lives. Also, I mean, unfortunately, Mexico has a lot of women violence. So now she's doing como a big program about every women lawyer in Mexico, that wants to join, for example, this group, the government will pay them for them to support any women that suffer gender violence. So, and this is something that the president Claudia Sheinbaum is, working on it. So, bit by bit, she is doing a nice and important changes for us. And I hope menopause definitely will be one of them.
Well, so I want to ask you about writing 4 books. And that's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is,
I
but
mean, that's like a life-consuming event, is to start with a blank page and then all of a sudden there's 200 of them.
yeah, but you know what? It's because my purpose changed when I wrote the first book. I mean, before I thought that my purpose was, like to be a very famous executive working in a trust, like a big company, traveling around the world, making a lot of money. And after I wrote my first book, When a Strong Woman Speaks, a Strong Woman Will Listen, uh, kind of my purpose in life start changing. And then I wrote the second book, and all the women that I start knowing around the world just helping me to understand that this is my purpose. My fifth book, I'm so happy to write. I'm doing a lot of research in my fifth book, and the name is A Strong Woman Speak about different crises in their lives. So economical crisis, I will talk about economical, professional, personal, empty nest, I mean, different crises that we have to face in our life, but how we can just survive, no matter what. And some other friend in Spain, she asked me, she's a CEO from some company in Spain. She asked me like, why you don't write your your book number 6 about long distance relationship? Because this is something that is happening more and more in our time. So, it's like so fascinating. I just want to dedicate my life to write books.
That's interesting. Well, thanks for coming on the TV talk show.
Thank you. And I just want to finish this conversation, Ed. I have a phrase that I just read a few days ago, and I just wanted to share with the audience is the golden age of a woman, it's not measured by years, but by the wisdom, confidence, and freedom she embraces. So thank you for your time and lovely conversation.
Thank you. Okay, so this is Ed in San Diego, and that's Adriana in Mexico City.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'm waiting for it to close.
Okay.
That was a great job, guys. That was a very, very great conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, my screen has frozen, but I hear you. Okay. All right,
Maybe
there
I
it is.
repeat it, I repeat it a lot of times, maybe the same things about, physical and emotional
Yeah.
changes, but well, we'll see. I mean, it's just the important thing is not just to answer questions. I mean, also, this kind of nice conversation that we have together, Ed. So great.
Yeah. Thank you. Looking forward to the next one.
Okay, so I'll
Okay.
send you all the information a week before so we can be prepared for that show with the guest.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day, guys.
Bye-bye.